Another aspect of life in the neighborhood was the fruit and vegetable man with his horse and buggy. It would be one horse pulling a square box type of wagon with a scale hanging and swinging in back. The fellow selling the wares would hit a metal triangle with a metal bar, which would make the familiar sound that there was produce for sale. The wagon would stop, and the back of the wagon would open up, and the people would come out of their apartments with cloth bags, baskets, or metal buckets and buy from the produce fellow what they wished. The kids would stand around admiring the horse. This was an every other day occurrence, so that the fruits and vegetables were always fresh. The fellow would take future orders and write them down so that he would not have a lot of leftover produce. He knew his route and the people along the way and what they usually wanted. The method of delivery for the dairy products and ice was the same, by horse and buggy. A person went down to the street and told the fellow what they wanted: cheese, butter, eggs, milk, cream, etc., and made their orders for the next delivery, which again was every other day. The iceman would also take orders and carry the blocks of ice up to the kitchens and put them in either a wooden ice box or a metal one. Not many people could afford an electrical refrigerator or like the electricity it took, nor the noise of the machine in their apartment. Modern machines make the quality of life worse in many circumstances. People moved around in the city by walking, riding a bike, or taking a bus or a train for the most part. The buses and trains were all electric, quiet, and no air pollution. That was 70 years ago. But people are finding out now that electric motors are best. The people I knew were poor and could not afford a car or the gas for it. But in the city, even today, public transportation is best. Parking and traffic jams are big problems, and electric cars, buses, trains, and trucks are coming into production once again, although slowly. A 70-year cycle maybe. When one is young and knows nothing but what goes on in the immediate area where they live, one does not know anything different is taking place. The West Side Chicago area at Cicero and Harrison was mostly made up of Italian and Irish families, many of which new arrivals or were first and second generation. The reason for settling in this area for these families was that both the Italians and Irish were very Catholic religion-wise, and there are big Catholic parishes in this area, consisting of large churches and large Catholic schools. Church service masses were conducted in Latin at that time. The Mass was very ritualistic. Latin is a sing-song language, and I liked the Latin because it was dreamy in the church with all the stained glass windows and statues. And High Mass was sung with usually a choir singing also. One could think one's own thoughts without concentrating on what was said. It to me was very meditating and relaxing. We wore uniforms to school, so there was no thought of outdressing another person. Besides, in that neighborhood everyone was from hard-working lower middle-class families.